Well, we have made it to hump day, folks. Welcome to Wednesday night's version of End the Simpademic. Jason coming at you here from the frozen tundra of Minnesota. And tonight I'm going to combine two aspects of my life into one neat little video. And of course, you all know about my Christian faith, but then you also know how much I pay attention to the issues of relations between the genders / sexes. And so this is going to put those two together here real quick. And what has triggered this particular discussion for me is a church small group that I have now become a part of. And the stark thing about this particular group, it is a singles group. It's my first singles group in 4 years, because I've usually done all men's groups for reasons that anybody who's paying attention to the dynamics between men and women can probably understand why. But I decided on the off, just on an off chance and throwing caution to the wind a little bit here, to try one. And here is what has happened. We haven't even had the first meeting yet, but I have already noticed some interesting trends here. This group has 16 members, and there are 8 men and 8 women. Now, if you see what goes on here between single people these days, you know that this is a bloody miracle. The last one I was in several years ago, it was 16 women and 4 men. And the reason for this is pretty simple. Men generally don't do these things. And, men generally avoid these types of events. And they avoid singles events at all costs, because in many of these situations, the women are judging the men from the jump. And unless you are a number 10 level Chad who can have the pick of everybody in the room, you're pretty much going to be invisible. And in that previous group where it was 16-4, that's exactly what happened to me. But this one is different, and I'll tell you how we got there, other than a spiritual miracle. The creator of this group had a different idea entirely. This was not about just a social gathering. This one is about going to church together as a group and discussing the message at a casual location afterwards. That's it. And it's not about a dating situation or, trying to create those types of things like I think some of the other social groups have been. But this one is truly just about, going to church together and discussing the teachings afterwards. That's all it is. And I know just from talking to some of the guys who have signed up for this that we were all looking for something different and a lot more than just a social gathering. And this remarkable woman has provided it. We don't do singles events, but in this case, it's an even balance. Super rare. First time I've ever heard of anything like this happening. And I'm going to go back to Levi Nix here real quick. He has mentioned this before as far as these types of dynamics and singles events. And he says that these were, most of these are marketed wrong. Well, I will actually add both of our points together on this one. Because yes, they are marketed wrong, but a lot of them are built wrong. He posted a video of one of these event planners talking about making it a fishing for love event around fishing and having, a pond on her farm. No, that's not the way you do that type of thing. Levi actually had a great idea for this one, and he said, keep what you catch. He goes, I'd have the men there, lined up out the door. Just say, keep what you catch. Fish, women, whatever. Keep what you catch. And this particular group, it's a very simple concept as well. It's not about dating or relationships. It's just about getting together, going to church, and having a conversation. Things that are a little bit more deep than your typical surfacey singles group or event. And this is what works. I'm watching it work right now. Men don't want just simple surfacey conversations. We want something a little bit more when it comes to these conversations. Because the reason why we want something a little bit more is, well, some of us don't care as much about getting into a relationship, and that's not my purpose for signing up for this. My purpose was to find a group that would do exactly what we're doing. We can have real conversations about what we are learning from the sermons and what is going on in our respective lives. And that's the deep stuff that is missing in those other events out there. We want just something a lot more. Real connections with real people. I can't think of a better way to actually connect with different people than this. And I mean, it's not even just men and women. I mean, even the women with each other and the men with each other, as far as on a spiritual level is concerned. I think that's what we're going to see here. And I mean, I'll be back with more episodes that will tell everybody how this whole thing is progressing. But I just wanted to share this with everybody because it is just so uncommon. And quite frankly, I think it's just awesome. I've told our new leader this, because she's the one who came up with everything. The idea, the thought, and everything else. And the motivation and the plan. And I thanked her. Because we so need, this is such a huge need. And that's regardless of where you are, regardless of what kind of faith you have. Just these types of things where we can have real conversations with real people and not have a shallow chat. But to have real conversations about what's going on in our lives. In our case, as it relates to the Bible and God. But even if you're not in that particular situation, these are the types of connections that are missing. Those types of, single men don't do these events because it's missing. And yet here we are at 8 and 8. Just bloody awesome is all I gotta say. So anywho, a little chilly over here by the window tonight. It's getting close to 0 already outside. If you're up here in the upper Midwest and you're freezing with me, stay warm, stay safe. I'll see you back tomorrow. Probably something a little bit, I'm probably going to have something, different. I haven't thought of exactly what yet, but anyway, stay safe, be nice to each other, and peace out, homies.